This is an excerpt from my book, The Goddess of Samos. Lem expected that she would now close the cage and leave him alone. He was certainly ready for a rest after his big day. But instead she put her hand by the door and held it flat. "Come on, sweetie, you haven't seen the whole house yet," she announced cheerfully. Feeling weird to be reluctantly stepping out of a cage, he carefully exited and sat himself back down in her giant palm. She gently cupped him again and carried him out through the dining area into what looked to be the living room. It was even bigger than the kitchen, being almost twice as long as it was wide. On his right was a mammoth love seat, and on his left, just past the front entrance to the house, was an immense picture window that overlooked a mighty sofa as long as a semi-trailer. Beyond it was a corner fireplace that could have roasted an entire elephant, and it made him feel a bit like he was in a giant's castle. But the neighboring glass-paned door was very exquisite and civilized, despite its grand size, as was the enormous high-backed armchair in the next corner. Going around the room, his eyes came to another Titanic chair, this one made from something like giant bamboo, and with a downy cover over its ergonomic frame. A base swivel gave it a smart demeanor, along with an end table that held a book and a large wicker box. It looked well lived in, and he guessed that it was her chair. Next to it, a great red-brown wood cabinet completed the room, as spacious as a small apartment building. It had shelves on the outside, drawers and cabinets inside of that, and two great swinging doors in the middle. The giantess had adorned it with things like books, vases, candles, and pictures, all of giant size, of course, and Lem stared with astonished appreciation. The colossal cabinet was the perfect symbol for Dinah, at once both sweetly personal and awesomely immense, and very humbling for him. A low table occupied the center of the great vaulted chamber, and the giantess set him down on it before going over to the detailed cabinet doors. As she opened them up, he saw the vast screen of a giant television, an old-fashioned tube set, which looked massive even next to Dinah. His brain was almost done for the day, if not a week, and he wearily hoped that he might be able to just kind of veg in front of the enormous set. Like she heard his thoughts, Dinah turned it on, and after waiting for it to warm up, set the channel. It was all so 50s-like to Lem that he almost felt snug. "It's just like I'm in a scene from Leave It to Beaver," he thought in dull amazement. Only, of course, this Mrs. Cleaver is apparently divorced and alone and 70 feet tall. Okay, it's not at all like Leave It to Beaver. Despite his self-correction, he was still very glad for the homey display.